Hey team, how are you? So the first act of willpower is investing in yourself. And what does that mean, investing in yourself? And why is it the first act of willpower? The reason is you invest in yourself because you believe in yourself. You believe you're worth it. And it's the first act of willpower, because internally, we all have a calling, a blueprint, an identity, and it is always telling us what to do. And what we do with our willpower when we action it and we invest in ourselves is we are listening to that calling. And that calling is the difference between positive and negative. When we pursue our calling, when we act with willpower towards our calling, then we are elevating ourselves, we are going higher, we're progressing. And when we don't act, when we relent in willpower, when we don't have willpower, then we dissuade ourselves, we move away from our calling. So the first act of willpower is to invest in yourself. And when you invest in yourself, you're pursuing your calling, you're going forward in your calling, and you're behind yourself. And that's what I want everybody to do. I really want everybody to be able to be consistent with and listen to their calling, understand their calling, and see who they are and pursue that. Because there is two dimensions that exist in the universe. There's a physical dimension, the dimension that our physical bodies exist in, and then there is a spiritual dimension. You see, where do thoughts come from? Where are thoughts held? Where do ideas come from? They come from what is called the spiritual dimension. It's a higher dimension, and it's a dimension that the physical world cannot measure. And it certainly can't measure currently with the current knowledge that we have. And that's why it's a different dimension, because physicality doesn't operate in that sphere based on current knowledge. And so we have this calling at the higher dimension, and all the time in our lives, what we're doing is we're pursuing this calling, this clock, this GPS that's ticking away at us, and telling us what our higher purpose is, what our higher calling is. And our job is to pursue that. That's the journey of life. And the way we do that is through enacting willpower. And so it's the power to will, our willpower, that determines our success. And so, you know, it's this battle between yin and yang, and where we, through our thoughts, make the decision to pursue and fulfill our calling is where, at the spiritual state, at the higher state, the worlds change and reverberate, and then back into our physical world. It tells us the action that we need to pursue to deliver on the commitment, the decision that we've made at the higher level. I know it sounds very ominous, but it's because it's very ethereal. It's very, it's very spiritual. It's also philosophical. But the reasons why we do things are based on philosophy and not on the physical. They're based on the spiritual. And so we as humans have to understand that it's the spirit that drives us, and then it's the physical that is an enaction of the spiritual. So we really need to claim the spiritual ground and understand our deep truths, because those deep truths, they're eternal truths, and wisdom is an eternal truth. And those deep truths, when they're pursued, enacted, followed upon, then they deliver us the best results. Talk to you later, guys.